the matter of
I mean, we don't do it just. It's high time. We as Nigerians, we can start.
Well, I came into politics because I looked at the whole scenario and I found out that majority of the people are running away from politics.
Today, we are very privileged to be with it. He is Papa Timothy Adebanjo Fashui, a permanent student of Ahmadu Bello University, Nigeria, and a teacher, artist, educationist who first established a cultural center, Tafas, in Lagos, as well a big stakeholder in the development of arts and culture in Nigeria. I'm very privileged to be with him on this segment. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You're most welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to see you too.
Yeah. For a lot of people watching you on a global platform in the diaspora now, who doesn't know you but have heard your name or have seen your artworks, can you tell us a bit about your background, sir?
Yes, I can. Name-wise, my names are Timothy Adebanjo Fashui. I'm a Nigerian, as you think, and I've been in art for almost all my life. I come from a dynasty of craftsmen in Ishaland, and as a group, they were responsible for the decoration of the palace, making of the beaded crowns, the umbrella, all the things that are art and this thing in the so. From that type of family, and I went to Zaria High School, now Ahmadu Bello University, because there were 3 campuses of the college. There was one in Nsukka, one in Ibadan, and one in Zaria. There was one prize given by Sir Sidney Phillips, who was the chairman of the higher education in Nigeria. So I have both education and art as my areas of concentration in the ministry. So now, while I was in college, I had the idea of building a museum, a gallery of art to keep my works, because I feel so sorry every time I see our artworks abroad. The Nigerian artist is very happy to smile to the bank. You give them your work, they go away with it. Then there's nothing left. You cannot show people I have 15 billion in account, and then that is, when you show your work around you, these ones are my living people there. They are living with me like human beings. I value each artwork like I value a human being. They are my children, they are my creation. So I plan to have this type of museum and gallery together, where I can live which I can leave to them as my legacy. So my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they come, they can say, oh, Papa tried. This is what Papa did. So that has been my home. So when you ask about my works here, I did in 1957 when I was in college. My last exhibition was outside Nigeria. I was in Paris in 1984.
Okay.
Your art interest, your artism, by the way you continue to create new ideas for your work, for your home, for the environment. There are people who are gifted in talking. There are people who are gifted in music, singing, and so on. God is the major thing. But see, as a human being now, created by God to do this, I believe in hard work. And I believe in modesty in my life, not extravagant, not bogus. The inspiration for me to work is that I want to leave this gallery. I have two of them actually. There's one here, there's one at Elisha, my own town, which has many works as we have here. Here I have about 150 paintings exhibited.
150 paintings?
150 paintings. And I have sculpture like this, about 50. This is what I'm doing now, sculpture. That's what I'm putting my emphasis now.
But why the emphasis on Keregbe?
Well, Keregbe.
What is the meaning of Keregbe?
Keregbe is just God in English language, and it's used ordinarily when it's to keep palm wine, to keep water, but that it has a type of unique format. It tries this type of form around it that makes it attractive to be used as sculpture. It's not common to see this type of shapes in sculpture. So that's the body. They use now use two Kerigbes here, one and this join them together, and I call this mother and child. This one I call the whistleblower.
Whistleblower.
Recently the federal government of Nigeria decided to give those who can give them information about this one. Well, I like to capture situations like that in life, where what I'm saying is relevant to what's happening in the society at that particular time. So I did this one about a year ago, and I called it whistleblower because somebody listening, if you look at it from this side, you can see them talking, and that's what I'm talking to. And let's listen. Olofu, that's it. I don't want, well, if you want to use it, that's Olofu proper. Yes. That's what it means. Okay. And then this one, I call it Unidodo. Dodo is this thing you have here. It's a common sight in for children who are young to carry this. And those are the things that will capture my attention, my interest to produce my artwork.
Okay. Okay. In Nigeria, people don't really appreciate arts culture. They're not embracing it the way the Europeans are. And as an educationist, in one way have you tried to make art as a very vibrant educational segment that people can appreciate or learn how to?
The educational system here put emphasis on what you can get from life. I'm talking of money, material gain, rather than what you can achieve and enjoy as an individual.
Okay.
Ordinarily people don't know they sing, but if you remember the question when you are in the bathroom, something just comes to you and you start shouting, you start shouting something and enjoy yourself. That is the art in you. You're expressing yourself unconsciously. And then sometimes you start dancing like I do because the music is around and then I want to dance. I started teaching art at the King's College, Lagos. Moved from nowhere to school start within 2 years, and then to the A levels after another 2 years. And King's College has become one of the schools with art. So when you have gone through an art education program, you are likely to see more in life because you have been trained to see things differently. Then the generality of people will want to see photograph, realist painting than modern one. That's why it's difficult for them to see. Don't forget that before the advent of the white men, Nigerian settlements, kingdoms, Alaafin, Oyo Kingdom, Benin Kingdom, had their own cultural and artistic value, which people enjoyed and were dear to them. But when the white people came, they took away most of the things. People have nothing to look at it. And the new form we have produced now are strange to them. The European coming here will know a painting and start consulting about it. Not many Nigerians know what the qualities of painting or what you should do for the painting. So it's not difficult for them, it's not easy for them to appreciate art. But somewhere along the line, they come against good work and say, oh, try, that's a very good thing. That's the best for it. But the awareness is not as strong as the one the Western European people generally in the developed country have.
Okay. As an art enthusiast,
Yes.
how do you interpret an artwork when you see one?
When you look at a painting, the first thing you are talking about is paint. Because you call it painting. What are the colors you are using? Like this one now.
Yes.
It's very colorful. It is depicting what I call academic masculine. You know, when they wear the academic gowns, they look like masculines.
Okay.
But in this case, I'm trying to see the academics now in their uniform in a colorful arrangement. You can see the colors there.
Yes.
That's very attractive and very pleasing to the eyes. So that's the first thing you look for, painting, and then the arrangement of the colors. It's not just red on one side, no green. It's a mixture of the green and the white and the ice cream, cream this to create a visual impression that will attract you. Before you know the meaning, you are already attracted to it. Because like you go to the shop, when you go to the shop, you want to see a series of textiles. You have already done a creative thing by choosing your color. So everybody has to color. We have white most of the time. So I always look forward. So when you look at an artwork like this, you see the color combination, and the combination now is telling you the story of academics, learning, research, scholarship, and so on.
This is an original work done by you in 2010.
Yes.
If you have to sell this piece of artwork, how much will it go for?
You see, just like any basic economics, demand and supply. Occasionally, when you get to your exhibition, you are exhibiting 20 works. This may attract more people than the others. At which you can say, okay, I want to sell it for 2 million, and somebody say, yes, I pay quickly, and then somebody say, I pay 2.5. So that type of auction can be there. But it's just give you this thing. But if I want to sell this one, I will pay about 2 million Nigerian money.
Creativity comes with ingenuity and brilliance. How does this combine with your style of artworks?
Well, creativity is a common thing. But you see, you have to be intelligent. Because people think that art is cheap. No. When you composing this one, you look at the way the colors are arranged, the textures where they are, the flat areas like this, and try to balance. So the creativity in you is also making you do more, do new things. And that's the real essence of an artist. You keep just one behind you, I call the Bolo Dumari. It's a type of reflection of Dio Fagunwas book about forest and the spirits and so on. Well, these are the things. You have to, first of all, I've been able to read that book and assimilate it before you now make it into an spiritual artwork. So these are, they are interwoven. And, but you see, an artist is born or trained, but a good artist is born and trained. That is, you got the talents with you, you train yourself, and through other exposure, you are able to do something out.
Okay. Painting is said to be a practice exported to Nigeria through art education. How lucrative are painting works in Nigeria?
Very lucrative for those who are living by it. You see, people tend to feel that art must be sold, that art is an instrument of making money. It is not money that's important now, but you're giving ideas for posterity. If I think all this 2 million and somebody buys it, it's going to either to auction it again somewhere, and the auction finally it will reach a resting place where somebody has bought it for 5 million and hanging it or more and hanging it in his room. That's the final destination of the artwork. So the artwork is supposed to be enjoyed by people who see the work from time to time. So you cannot say the value of artwork is this, but from the current price, pricing of art in Nigeria, I would think most of my works here, each and any one of them should be above 100,000. At least basic 100,000. At least basic.
Okay, what's the highest you ever sold? Artwork that you ever sold, or sculpture?
I can't tell you this one because actually I don't sell my works.
Why?
I don't sell my works.
So you don't do it for commercial purpose?
No, let me tell you what I do. It can be commercial, but not that I just say buy all the buy. Because once you put commercial this into this, you are working towards the taste of the buyers. You want them to see and say, because you are, I know you like yellow, I go and paint yellow for you. Then you are not creating yourself, you are not on your own. You are now working towards money. And when you start doing that, you lose the essence of creativity.
So what gives you joy doing this?
Oh, before that, around me, you are now in my studio, gallery. And you are sitting down here. I can look around and see so many things you have done for different occasions. I feel happy. It's not money that will make happiness for you.
So it's not for the money, it's just for the passion.
It's for the passion. That's me. I'm not the. I don't want to see myself as a typical one, but young people sell. If you want to sell, talking, your question is how some paintings are sold for 5 million, 2 million. This I know 2 artists who have sold their works, one for about 4 million or 5 million, one piece, Nigerian money, and those some of them are selling for this thing. But I don't deliberately go and sell my works. If you come to me like you are here now, and you go around and say, this works you like, then I'll tell you, I don't want to part with it. But if you want it by all means, hoping that I will do another one, you give me, negotiate. Okay. Depending on what you have. If I want you to go with it, whatever you give me will be satisfactory. But occasionally, when I used to travel, each time I travel, I went with my materials, a box of paint, some brushes and so on. As soon as I land, either in Ottawa or in New York or London, I open my dressing, look for canvas, paint. Then I go to the embassy people. Oh, your place, you need so. Yes. Can you give me foreign money? Dollars. I need dollars in Ottawa or in give money, then I give to them. I want it to be convenient for them. So when they give me dollars, and I think about it in my own, in Nigeria, I found that maybe I've made $500,000 naira, which I could use in buying art materials, other things to come to Nigeria.
You participated in a lot of art exhibitions.
Yes.
Abroad.
Yes.
If you have to combine the way the Europeans or the Americans embrace art compared to the way we embrace art in Nigeria, in which we have a lot of originality here. Because a lot of our artworks have been taken to museums abroad.
Yeah, they are not a lot. All of them are there.
During the slave trade era. Can we ever get that back? And if you have to look at the worth of what we have in originality here, can you compare to what is obtained abroad?
When I was packing this place, I said to myself, when I sell this one, I have money. But can money represent me when I'm dead? I'm thinking of 20 years, 25 years from now, 50 years from now. Some of the works I've done are more than 50 years, especially some the ones I did in the early stages of my career. So, to me, that's the achievement is monumental in terms of money. But if you are selling them one by one and making money and do another one, it's good you getting money, smiling to the bank and come back. But in the long run, you'll be doing injustice to the Nigerian nation, to whom you are supposed to be responsible. When all your works are in Paris, London, and New York, and anybody wanting to study your work, we have to go to those three places to be able to see you clearly. But if you have majority of your work somewhere, they can go there and say, yes, you live at this thing, you've told us ideas, because ideas are behind all the works. Some of the things you don't think about, the artist will think about it and interpret it. Like this one is a personal one. It's talking about burial, and I call it the last burial thing in Nigeria. That's one thing. This one, I call it controversial passion.
Controversial?
Yes. You see two young girls kissing, doing what you call homosexual. It's accepted in America, in London, but not in Nigeria. So that's what I call it. It's a passion all over the world. This type of thing happens here and there. But when it becomes, when they happen to judge, I don't say this is a Nigerian culture or this is an American choice. Controversial.
Okay, let's talk about this now, our youths now. How do we now embrace our youth to encourage them in promoting arts? And you as an octogenarian now, you've been there for a very long time. How many people have you trained over the years?
Training is a multiplier effect. You train 10, 10 will train 10, and you continue to be like that. When I was at King's College, all the students in junior classes did art. And then after some of them in the senior classes did art, some of them up to the A-levels. And I'm sure those ones have influenced or have touched the lives of other people. So it's a multiplying effect. But we ensure that art was taught at a place like King's College because of the catchment area of the core of the Nigerian youth going to that place. So we want to educate them and make them men of culture, not just people who can read science, who can talk literature, but people who are cultured.
What is the legacy you want to bequeath or you want to leave behind in the world? Because you've been celebrated. You've been very, very brilliant and accomplished art person.
Well, thank you. There are two ways to leave a legacy. One, like I've just said, of my character, my achievement, it's one thing. You live a good life, be honest with yourself, be fair to everybody you come about, and make your character known to the world. That's a legacy. Train yourself, train your children, let them have education. That's a legacy. But what I regard as my own major legacy now is the collection of art that I'm leaving behind. I hope another 25 years, 50 years, this place will stand. It's the largest collection of art in Africa. You will not believe. When you go around your place, because there's a section there for the that's a legacy, physical or material legacy, which I have to leave to the people.
What makes you happy? You've seen world. You've enjoyed life. What makes you happy now, sir?
What makes me happy is happiness. Well, there are two things. Happiness comes from outside. Joy comes from inside you. I get joy from my works. I get happiness from people like when you come and say you like this one and you say like I'm happy. There are 2 ways now. The joy is in the creation. It's for me that I have an idea. You just think of one thing you want to do, like this one. Because when I was in Zaria many years ago, but I didn't paint it until recently, I think 2012. When you have an idea in you and you finally express it, then you have joy of creation. Then when you come and say, oh yes, I like this painting and this thing, and I give it to you also, then I can get happiness from it. That is the material appreciation which you are giving me will make me do more.
So finally, before we go, sir, to our global audience watching you right now, very happy, a lot of art enthusiasts who love the work of art. We want to know, I want to go and see Daddy Timothy in Nigeria. I want to see his gallery. I want to see his art museum. What will you tell them now about you and what they should expect when they come and visit your gallery in Nigeria?
Well, first of all, I expect them to receive from me a warm welcome to this place. And I'm always happy to take people around. As of now, it's free. You don't have to pay for coming here, but for pay the transport from where you are coming. Once you are here, you are in safe hands. And this is the essence of this, my main motive, my ambition. That on one spot, I can bring people from all over the world to appreciate my work. I think what I've seen there. So when they come from anywhere, we receive them. They'll be happy to have come here because when I take time to explain to them the meaning or the theme of each painting, they will see more. Until I started telling you all this one, you saw this one as paintings. But now that I'm trying to explain to you, each of them and so on, you're getting more knowledge, you are getting more informed about what they stand for. And this, I think, is the essence of art. Come and get yourself involved and educated in the arts of because what I'm doing here depicts all the aspects of Nigerian life, from age 1, the day a child was born, how you get the names out. For example, when you have twins, you know it's Tayi and Kennedy in our culture. The one following them is Do. All these are there. And then some of these things that are Lord, like what to call now? All of the things that are not practiced again, I still repeat them for people to know that at one time circumcision was part of life. I put that one there. Then the growth of the child through marriages, through education to marriages and to becoming mother and child. These are depicted. So from here, you can learn the essence of Nigerian culture through painting. Okay. That's a major achievement.
And now, before we go, sir, you're more into sculpturing now.
Yes.
What brought the motivation to go into sculpturing, and how lucrative is that part of art?
Well, as I've told you before, I come from a family of craftsmen, sculptors mainly. When I left school, I did painting because at that time it was new to me. But after going around, I found that dealing with authentic thing, and African can claim to his sculpture because you use the material here, you do it in your own format, and you are different from other places. So I started my research on this one. And the first place where I exhibited it was in Paris. The Total Nigerian gave me a sponsorship to exhibit my works in Paris. That was 1984. And when I was going there, I know Paris very well, having worked with UNESCO. I said, well, paintings are so many, there are so many pocket galleries over the place. So I said, let me do something unique. And I went to this sculpture. I went with 20 of this sculpture and 20 of paintings. Only 2 of the sculptures came back to Nigeria just because they were broken somewhere. I sold up that year. I sold 18 out of 20. Of the painting, I sold only 9. The others I have to come because they are used to seeing the two-dimensional work, painting, so searching for all the ages, all the isms of art in Paris. So the idea is this one carries to me a more African creativity than in the painting, because the painting has been done for many centuries in other climes.
We want to say thank you, sir, for giving us this time to come and visit you.
It's a pleasure having you with me.
Showcase your gallery to the world. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you in the nearest future.
Please come. Anytime you are free, your friends are here, bring them to my gallery. We can share a bottle of Coke together. And then laugh at this.
Viewers, it's been an impressive segment and discourse with a veteran who knows it all about art. The man is over 83 years old and he's still keeping it on. Remember, art is life.
Very consistent and matter of
I mean, we don't do it just it's high time. We as Nigerians, we can pass.
well, I came into politics because I looked at the old scenario and I found out that majority of the people are running away from politics.
Turn around.